All right, guys, let's take a look at the preview for Week 14 coming up in the NBA. Start by looking at the teams with the best and worst schedule for the week. The Charlotte Hornets actually have the best schedule this week. They play 4 games and some pretty juicy opponents here. They start the week with the Spurs, which isn't fantastic. It's not terrible. But then later in the week, they've got the Sacramento Kings, then the Phoenix Suns, and then they round out the week with the Indiana Pacers. So it's not the greatest of schedules that you'd see from a 4-game week, but they're one of only a handful of teams that do play 4 games, and out of that group of teams, they do have the best schedule. And then down the back end of things, the New York Knicks have the worst schedule. They only play 1 game along with the Washington Wizards. That's the London game. But of course, playing the Wizards is a little bit tougher than playing the Knicks. So by virtue of that, the Knicks have the worst schedule this week, and it's really hard to consider any of the Knicks or Wizards guys as must roster weekly league play, especially the Knicks guys, because they've only got 1 game. Like, getting 1 game is just not enough to have any of those guys really in your roster. In your weekly roster for this coming week, or even streaming those guys. Maybe you stream them in for that one day. And that is about it. Let's take a look at some more stuff for this week coming up. As I mentioned, the Knicks and the Wizards play just the 1 game. There are only 8 teams that play 4 games as well. The Hornets, the Spurs, the Pacers, the Suns, Celtics, Pistons, Clippers, and Grizzlies play 4 games. There are 2 teams that have 2 games, the Mavericks and the Hawks as well, and everyone else has 3 games. So all in all, this is a very low volume NBA week, and you'd see the way that the games are spread out that it shows that. 6 games Monday, 6 games Tuesday, 8 games Wednesday, 6 games Thursday. That's a weirdly busy Thursday. 7 games Friday. You've got a busy Saturday with 10 games, and then just 3 games on Sunday. So really low volume. You can stream every day apart from Saturday. So making the most out of those streams is going to be key. If you've got a waiver acquisition limit, 3 ads, 4 ads, 5 ads, you've got the ability to add someone at least 6 days this week, and you're probably not going to have enough waiver ads unless your league has a 7 ad limit, which is dumb. You should limit that in most leagues. So utilizing, and if you don't have a waiver limit, then shit, man, it's time to go sick, because this is the week where you can get multiple players in, especially if you're in a situation where you desperately need a significant win. You might be having to sacrifice the worst 2 players in your team, and you can add 2 players Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and get yourself an additional 12 games of action to get you a 7-2, an 8-1 win, and that might be enough to push you back into playoff contention. So it's all going to come down to how your team looks, where you're looking in the standings, who those players are you're dropping. But this is a great week to go really sick on the streaming. In terms of the 4-game teams, the San Antonio Spurs and the Clippers, all 4 of their games come on quality days. So there's going to be a ton of quality games this week. And in fact, stacks of the 3-game teams play all of their games on those quality days. It's really the only day that's not a quality day is the Saturday. So that's worth mentioning. So it's not as important to look at quality days this week, just because of the way the schedule plays out. You can stream these guys on pretty much every day. So we're looking more at back-to-backs, and unfortunately, there's no back-to-back that starts the week Monday, Tuesday. There is on Tuesday, Wednesday. You've got the Warriors. You have that Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. Probably the worst team because there's just no stream value there. The Milwaukee Bucks also have a Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back. So someone like perhaps George Hill, Ersan Ilyasova. You could look at maybe deeper leagues. You look at someone like Sterling Brown or DJ Wilson there as well. Wednesday, Thursday, we have no back-to-backs either. Thursday, Friday, no back-to-backs either. And then you got the pseudo back-to-back Friday, Sunday, where we've got the Spurs who have got that combination, the Clippers who have got that combination, and the Minnesota Timberwolves who have got that combination. So when you get to the end of the week, adding a Spurs, a Clippers, or a Wolves player to get 2 games out of 1 ad is going to be key, especially if you've used a lot of your ads early in the week. So you're looking at guys like maybe Marco Bellinelli for the San Antonio Spurs, Bryn Forbes up there, Davis Bertans is an option. For the Clippers, do you take a risk on Patrick Beverley, Avery Bradley, maybe Marcin Gortat can be that stream option? And then for the Timberwolves, is it Josh Okogie? Is it Anthony Tolliver, who's weirdly back in the rotation? Probably not. Taj Gibson, Dario Saric, they really come into play at the end of the week there as well. Let's have a look at some other players who are options who could be on your waiver wire, who could be interesting weekly ads for this week, who could actually find themselves locked into a 12-team weekly lineup. Marvin Williams and Nick Batum from the Charlotte Hornets. As I said, they've got one of the best schedules this week. They play 4 games, one of only 8 teams that do that, so there is value in using those guys. Reggie Bullock of the Detroit Pistons, another team with 4 games. He's playing a lot of minutes at the moment. He doesn't provide much value in multiple categories, but 4 games of him versus 3 games of another fringe player, that's a big difference. And 4 versus 3 doesn't seem like much, but it's a 33.3% increase in overall production. Yeah, that's big for a week like this. D'Anthony Melton's a must-roster player regardless, but I think that for this week, you're looking at him pretty strongly. Bryn Forbes, I mentioned already. Richaun Holmes, also of the Phoenix Suns, is a great ad for this week with the 4 games on. You got JaMychal Green from the Memphis Grizzlies, also with those 4 games. Who, if Jaren Jackson gets into foul trouble, he's looking at some big performances. Then a couple of other Suns guys, Josh Jackson and Kelly Oubre Jr. can be ads for this week, and they can actually probably be locked into 12-team active lineups given the nature of the way this schedule breaks out, and the Suns, one of those only 8 teams who do play 4 games for this upcoming week.